The Expanse's creators are developing another space opera for Prime Video, which is interestingly based on a book series that draws from a biblical story. Considering how The Expanse remains one of the greatest sci-fi adaptations of the century, it is hard not to be hyped about the upcoming Prime Video TV series. What makes the new show even more fascinating is that it is based on authors Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank's The Captives War series. Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank are the same authors who also wrote the Expanse book series under the pen name James S.A. Corey. Since Prime Video was able to do justice to their original stories with 6 seasons of The Expanse, the streamers' take on The Captives War seems hopeful. It is interesting that, despite not covering the entire story from the original Expanse books, Prime Video has jumped ahead to adapting another series by the same authors. While only time will tell how this new sci-fi adaptation will turn out, its source material's key inspirations suggest that it will be very different from The Expanse in more ways than one. Prime Video is adapting The Captives War, which was inspired by the Book of Daniel. Just like Prime Video's The Expanse, even The Captives War's TV show will have the original authors, Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank, as its executive producers. The Expanse's showrunner, Naren Shankar, also serves as The Captives War's creator, and Breck Eisner, who directed many episodes of The Expanse, is also attached to the new project. While only time will tell whether The Captives War will be a loyal adaptation of the books, it is expected to capture its source material essence and honor its inspirations like The Expanse. Speaking of The Captives War's inspirations, its authors have been vocal about how they heavily drew from the Book of Daniel. In an interview, via Anduliptak, Ty Frank revealed how the idea for The Captives War came to him during the later years of writing The Expanse. He wanted to pitch it as the Book of Daniel reimagined as a sci-fi story. As he discussed, he was intrigued by the fact that, in the original biblical story, a man's entire culture and home were annihilated before he was expected to become a bureaucrat and work under those who took everything away from him. Co-author Daniel Abraham even compared The Captives War with the Book of Daniel and George Orwell's 1984, via the bookseller, explaining how he was intrigued by the idea of living inside an authoritarian empire and maintaining an identity and self outside of that empire while being completely subsumed by it. The Captives War's inspirations from the Book of Daniel and 1984 also ensured that, instead of focusing on full-fledged military triumph, it was about softer kinds of power and subtle resistance. As Ty Frank explained, via Scientific American, he did not walk readers through a familiar story of humans and aliens going in an all-out war on Earth. Instead, he and Daniel Abraham wanted to defy the norm and bring something new to the table with The Captives War's portrayal of resistance as something unglamorous but deeply human. The Captives War's inspirations prove it will be nothing like The Expanse. In another interview, via Winter is Coming, Daniel Abraham discussed the biggest distinctions between The Expanse and The Captives War. He described The Expanse as a more grounded portrayal of science fiction by comparing it with the works of authors like Alfred Bester and Larry Niven and Arthur Clarke. To explain how The Captives War is different, he compared it with more expansive sci-fi books, like Dune and Left Hand of Darkness, that unfold far ahead in the future. The Expanse introduces alien species in its narrative, but its overarching sci-fi drama never drifts away from its human characters. The Captives War, on the other hand, places non-human societies and consciousness at the very center of it while exploring what humanity looks like from an outsider's perspective when it is being held captive by a powerful alien force. Even the Orwellian undertones in The Captives War make it far bleaker than The Expanse, prompting readers to ponder over everything from the nature of an individual's identity within an authoritarian empire and whether compliance and resistance can coexist. Hopefully, Prime Video's take on The Captives War will be able to capture the original book series essence. With many creative powerhouses from The Expanse behind the upcoming show, it is hard not to be optimistic about its future.